Man, shout out to my idol Kanye West. Back in 2005, he dropped a little song called Gold Digger. You've probably heard it by this point, and I think that the chorus of that song, which I can't sing because I'm too white, and I'm really not trying to get canceled right now, I think perfectly personifies what we're about to take a look at here today, fellas. I was stunned, to say the least, when I saw this. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe it's my fault that I was honestly surprised by what I saw on this whole thing here. I don't know. It could be, but in all reality, you don't just expect to be hopping on the timeline and seeing this particular situation. I mean, you already know it's going to be some BS every day on Twitter. I mean, you open that app up and you already know that it's just going to be something ridiculous. But I mean, this, you know what I'm saying? This is just sad. This is one of the most blatant incidents of gold digging that I've ever seen in my life, and I'm about to make a pretty solid case, I think, here, folks. I think I'm about to just, break this whole thing open, you know what I'm saying? So by the time I went to go make this video, man, the account had been deleted, which is extremely suspicious, in my opinion. I think that is quite suspicious that you would up and delete your Twitter account. I mean, sure, yeah, maybe you did it because hella people were on your case about the entire thing. Maybe that's why you did it, but I mean, come on now. To break down this backstory, right? So there's this 19-year-old girl who was going by the name Miss Vagina Jones over on Twitter. Very interesting selection for the name there, but I mean, we'll go ahead and digress that one there. So at the age of 19, she married a man in his 80s. I think he was, something like 89 years old, some just crazy, just old dude, you know what I'm saying? He's really up there in age and everything. And immediately you're gonna start to be like, well, that's kind of suspicious, right? Because I want you to think of how many 19-year-old women are just like, you know what? I'm in love with this 90-year-old man. All of a sudden, And it's a genuine attraction thing. It's a genuine love thing. It's not them trying to get, that inheritance, It's like Minecraft, man. Once you fall in lava and you die and your shit falls out everywhere and it starts burning up in the lava, nope, he's gonna fall off, he's gonna die, and his stuff's gonna hit the ground. She wants to be there to select that diamond armor if she chooses. She is there to pick up the goods at any cost, So immediate red flag in my opinion, but I mean, you know what? I'm going to try and be fair. I'm going to try and provide a fair case here. So apparently this young woman worked at a nursing home that this man was living in, okay? And she was taking care of him. According to her, she calls this guy Lee all the time, so that's what we're going to call this man Lee. And I just want to provide a very quick screenshot here that I think is going to really kind of open this whole video off well here. So I'm gonna piss and shit and vomit on myself. Lee has so much fucking money, fucking hell, I've literally been homeless before. This is back in August, of course, it is now mid-October here on planet Earth, so yeah, it's been a few months or whatever, right? So just keep that in the back of your mind, right? Be ready to process that one at any time, keep that one in your RAM. So this man apparently has dementia, okay? Because, he struggles to remember a lot of details about things. He's an old-ass man, you know what I'm saying? It happens, it's something that develops in old people pretty commonly, right? And it's unfortunate, but that is the case. So she attempted to defend this behavior by saying, do you know anything about dementia, or do you just assume it's all stage 7 Alzheimer's? Usually he just doesn't know what day of the month it is, or calls me Ola. His cognitive state is not a question at all, okay? So, Ola, that's a weird name, you know what I'm saying? I've never met anyone aged 19 named Ola in my life. I've never met anyone named Ola in my life. Maybe if we were in Eastern Europe or something like that, but I mean, Ola is just not a common enough name, especially among younger people, for that to be something that he would just be calling you. That definitely makes me question his cognitive state as she attempts to clear that up and make that not a big deal or anything like that. So, he forgets what day of the month it is, calls her Ola. Oh, okay, so dude obviously has something going on, you know what I'm saying? And here is a picture I think everyone should take a look at too. Now this one, you'll see both of them here. He said, you better not wear heels to our wedding. And I said, don't worry, they're small, okay? You can tell, this dude, he's old, you know what I'm saying? And she very clearly is not old. So she says, what does it look like? I got married to an old man. It's pretty straightforward. But okay, let's think of some reasons in which you would get married to an old man who, according to you, just, in a few tweets ago, just a few, weeks ago, not even that long ago, has so much money and you've literally been homeless that you're going to defecate, urinate, and vomit all over the place. Yeah, let's think about that for a moment. Why would you marry somebody like that? You know, why would you marry a man that old who clearly is having some sort of cognitive decline, who would be pretty easy to prey on and take advantage of? Why in the world would you ever do that? Because you love him? I mean, yeah, hypothetically you could. But how many 18, 19-year-olds fall in love with 90-year-olds? It just doesn't happen, folks. It just doesn't. I'm sorry to burst that bubble for you. If any of you are 90 out there and you're looking for some sweet little piece, it just isn't going to happen, okay? You're going to have to settle for a little bit less, okay? Because if not, Kanye West said it best, folks. But remember, this man's cognitive decline, that's not a question, you know? He's fine. He just, it's a couple simple details that he can't remember sometimes. His cognitive ability, it's fine. But, yeah, Lee is confused this morning, and we handed him a glass of tea, and he said, "Do you know what's in this glass?" And we said, "It's tea," and he said, "No, it's desire." So today's going to be interesting, I think. He used to be a superintendent in Memphis, and I think that when we woke him up suddenly, he went back to that because he thinks Rosalind is a teacher, and he thinks I'm a student, and he's giving us a speech about needing to get the job done. Because, when you're a 90-year-old man or so, and your cognitive ability is still all there, you just suddenly snap back into that job you had back in the 70s or 80s. And when someone hands you a glass of tea, you're like, "Do you know what's in this glass? It's desire." That doesn't sound like somebody who's all there. You know what I'm saying? Who has, I would say, great cognitive ability, okay? And let's not pretend like this would be something rare, okay? According to the NCBI, dementia prevalence increases with age, which you probably could just assume based on like common sense, but 5% of people aged 71 to 79 years had it. But if you're 90 years old or older, it's 37.4%. And we're talking about a man who's reaching his late 80s. So, I mean, let's try and, balance out that growth. He's probably, 25%, something like that? Around that group, maybe of that age, probably has that going on, 1 in 4. That's a pretty good chance that he has something going on. But no, his cognitive ability is not in decline. Now, this woman was pressed very heavily by the Twitter community about this entire situation because a lot of us had just questions about the whole subject because, I mean, obviously, right? But go ahead and take a look at this little screenshot that got leaked from a Twitter group chat from back in July of 2020 here, okay? So, I'd like to stay for a few more months, at least if I can. Wait, so marriage within the next, year? I didn't realize it was that serious. Michael, if we get married, I would be the sole person who gets his inheritance. Wait, OMG, really? So, first off, you see the fucking screenshot. And okay, I'm also going to address the fact she addressed this and basically confirmed that this is real. This isn't some made-up screenshot. I would be the sole person who gets his inheritance. Of course, no 19-year-old would ever marry a man in his, late stages of life to ever get his inheritance. That would never happen. That's not fathomable. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you ever do that, right? She really loved this man. I'm sorry, but I mean, you look at the context of this message and write oh, I didn't know it was that serious. Marriage within the next year? And then your response is, if we get married, I'd be the sole person who gets his inheritance. It's not, I'm marrying him because I love him. I'm marrying him because I feel like he's my soulmate. It's immediately a jump to Michael. If we get married, I'd be the sole person who gets his inheritance. But remember, hey, guess what though? It's not anything about, marrying him for his money. That would never be the case. Now, she responded by saying, "Okay, bitches, here's the context. I was directly asked about and answered a fair question. That was several months ago. In the time since then, we've learned that the trust cannot be revoked and we aren't fighting it. If you're going to take my litigation tweet now, that's about his trust advisor." So let me go ahead and kick a little knowledge, I guess, about trust funds, okay? So when a trust fund is set up, right, there's usually like a beneficiary who's going to get it. A lot of the time, people will set them up and the money, when they pass away, will go to their children. It also will go to spouses sometimes, okay? Now, in this instance, I don't know if he has any kids, but she was very, very, very hesitant to confirm to anyone on Twitter about who that trust would be going to, which presents me to two different scenarios based on all of this evidence here. Number one, she married him for money, okay? And she figured out that the trust was basically locked in place, and she's not going to be getting that money, so she's kind of fucked. She's married this old-ass guy who has a very clear cognitive disability. He apparently doesn't even really know her name. He thinks he's still a superintendent in Memphis, Tennessee, talking about getting the job done in the nursing home, just having issues, right, that he can't help, okay? I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm not really trying to, pin shit on him because it's obviously not his fault, okay? So there's that situation. She married him, she's in this situation, she realizes that the trust is kind of locked, she's now fucked, she's being forced to defend herself on Twitter because everyone realizes what she was trying to do. Or number two, she still married him for money because I don't honestly see her loving this guy in any other way, considering the fact that she was asked to name 10 things about this man and could not provide barely anything about him. But somehow this trust may end up in her possession at the end of it all, and that's why she's still married to him and hasn't, like, tried to get rid of his ass through a divorce or anything like that, and that's why she's being so tight-lipped about who the beneficiary on that trust is going to be. Maybe even why she deleted her Twitter so she didn't have to answer any more questions about it. Who really knows? All I know is this is a fucked up situation, man. And at the end of the day, this is straight up elderly abuse. Like, this woman should be arrested and jailed for taking advantage of somebody who cannot protect themselves under any circumstances. This man clearly is defenseless. He barely can, like, recognize what day it is of the month. He doesn't even know her name, you know? He obviously doesn't have the cognitive ability to really break down the fact that he's being fucking taken advantage of by this young woman for money. And I feel horrible for him in that, I guess, circumstance, because who knows if anyone's going to be able to step in on his behalf and fix this. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. Well, not saying that she's a gold digger, but I can't finish the line because I'm too white. So, signing out.